to decipher some of his work and some of his language and the way he put it all together, which is why I believe you have people like an Ida B. Wells and a Anna Julia Cooper who could stand up and go toe to toe with him, because they were word wizards too. Now, I think I talked about Ida B. Wells in a sneak peek episode, because I'm going to go deeper into her too, because she wasn't playing with him either. And she stood up to those men about patriarchy. That's another woman who was about women's rights before white women realized they were women and they needed rights. Okay, so now we'll go into the imaginative universe of Octavia Butler. I really like Octavia Butler. So I can read her and I could drift off into a world that I know is not real, but also keeps me feeling like, I'm in a real world fantasy. Like, I'm just not fully in a whole, a full fantasy. It's not all paradise and rainbows. It's some realness to it. And boy, she takes you on a journey, but the way she does it it's immaculate. So Octavia Butler, a visionary who used science fiction as a lens to explore and challenge the boundaries of race, gender, and humanity. In Kindred, she takes us on a time travel journey to confront the horrors of slavery. My favorite, Kindred is my favorite book. And then now, so they adapted it into a series. It was a series on Hulu. Now, I didn't watch it. So I started watching it and then I stopped. But here's why. I don't like to wait for the next episode of something. So I guess you would call me a serial binger. I like to binge on episodes, and I like to get the whole story. So I want to get like 5 or 6 seasons, and where I'm just sitting there binging in so I don't get lost, because hell, I'll cut the show off and then I done forgot what happened. I have to go back and be like, did I see this before? This look familiar. Everything is a deja vu. It's the deja vu because the shit really happened, but I just completely forgot. And a lot of stuff that I ingest, I purposely excavated so that I could get more stuff up in there in my mind. So there's a show called Severance, and it's about how like they do something to your brain where they like shut off a certain part of your brain where you have no idea what you were doing when you're at work, and then you go home and you're just in this sort of world, and it kind of like it gives you very little details about where you are or what is going on in your life, but they give you like basic steps that you just go through every single day. And they they sever off your brain. So a portion of your brain just does not know what the other side is doing. I think I've kind of mastered that at this moment in my some years of being here. I think I've mastered that because I literally cut shit out of my brain. Like, if it's not useful, I can go in there and, cut it out like it's, a cancer. I can go in there with precision, and I will literally cut out every little piece of it and move on and put something else in there. I do that purposely because a little personal, but a lot of people see it as like oh, you just have a bad memory, or oh, you don't pay attention, or you not focused. No, I don't. I know I'm forgetting that shit on purpose. I think that's probably one of the rudest habits that I have on purpose. Like, a lot of people do that. They not going to admit it, but they forget that shit on purpose because it's not useful to them. But they not going to tell you that. They going to pretend like, oh yeah, I just forgot. You see that's not what's happening. Okay. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to just tell you. Okay. When your sister forget your daughter's name, she didn't just so happen to forget. She forgot her damn name on purpose. She purposely forgot. She's, I don't need that shit. Why do I need to remember her name? I'm sitting right here on side of her. I mean, I'm sure she gonna do something else that's, that's memorable, that's worth keeping it in this mind of mine. Shit, let me just X out her name real quick. Let me just, I'll just take that shit out. I'll go back to it later on or something, or somebody will remind me. I mean, shit, I don't need it right now. It's too much stuff in there. Let me get some of that shit out of there. So, when you see your sister calling your child everybody name but her real name, she took that shit out of her brain on purpose. Now, look at me. I got nieces. I sometimes forget their name. I am just telling on myself. Maybe not, because I probably told my sister that. I probably told her that shit before. Like, what? I don't need to remember that. That's not the point. The point is, I want to tell you what I want to tell you about the child. I don't need to know her damn name. Shit, you know your own damn kids. That is so funny to me, but that is just that is like the God honest fucking truth. Like, if she hear this shit, which maybe I'll hide this episode from her for a while, but if she hear this shit, she'll be like, you know what? Her ass, I knew it. Okay, so anyway, let me get back to Octavia Butler and her work. So, Octavia Butler, her work not only broke the color barrier in science fiction, but also challenged the norms of a genre, of course, traditionally dominated by white males. Hello, white males. There we go again. White males. The nerve of them. Isn't that like white men just... I mean, they kind of like picked roles, like different positions that they think certain people is supposed to be in, like their ideas. But it has nothing to do with, innate ability or strength. It's only dealing with power. And this is another area where they felt like this is something that a white man is supposed to do. They didn't even let white women do it. When white women did it, they dismissed they shit too. But it's even more dismissed when you black and you a woman. So I'm not just in the bottom 3 in the stack, like now you just push me down one more down further to the bottom. With black women, they didn't even imagine that black women had the ability to not only just write, but also to have an imagination. And it's like, How fucking narrow-minded could you be to even think that way? Some people think narrow-minded is just, no, narrow-minded is being able to imagine anybody in any way besides what you see them as, and then society shapes what you see them, how you see them. So you just created this shit in your mind. For you to think that black women wouldn't have an imagination. Think about the shit that we had to endure on them slave ships coming in, not sitting next to each other, but crammed next to one another. What type of imagination you had to have to just completely separate yourself from the situation that you're sitting in? And we do that a lot. We do that more than we think, because we really want to get away. Like, you're in such a, horrible situation that your go-to is to get away from it. And the first set of people that I would say that I would go to for anything imaginary would be two black people, because we had to have imaginations in order to endure some of the shit that we endured on these lands. I think I told y'all I'm always on the aliens side, right? Team Thanos. Go Thanos. Go Thanos. Okay, but yeah, so I don't feel like white people have the capacity to have an imagination for several reasons. I don't know if I want to say even more so now. I guess it's like there's more material out there that convinces me that they don't have the capacity to have an imagination. Even like, so if you think about science fiction films, early in the beginning, where I guess they would consider, some of the first science fiction films that came out, the aliens would look like humans. So like, that's not an imagination. Like, that's not you being creative. That's you just copying yourself and then distorting it a little bit. And even, I wouldn't even say them distorting it a little bit, because some of the stuff that we see in their, science fiction films, as they would call quote unquote aliens or whatever, it's real people that already appear that way, in the world right now. So it's like, that's not an imagination. You just copy some shit that you saw already. Like shit like people having, webbed feet and shit, or 3 fingers or toes or 1 arm. Like that is normal, not normal. It's not, the majority of people, but people like that exist. So you're not creating something out of this world. You're actually just creating something that is within this world, and you're just putting a different color on it. And look at how we do that. Look how we do with race. They really see people of another race as something different from them. And we're the same species. Yet they see us different. So for them, science fiction is just anything that don't look like me, or anything that's not me, or anything that's a distorted version of me. Like, that's not science fiction. Like, to me, that science fiction is supposed to be out of this world. And I think that